Okay, so the right-hand one was kind of your before. The left-hand one is now your after. As we said, try to get a little bit more weight kind of over the toes there with the shoulders, okay? You want the weight to be kind of equally balanced between the heels and the feet, heel and the toes, should I say, okay? So we can rock back and forth, nice and grounded. We can move our feet kind of, I say the hip movements through the feet moving back and forth this way. It's not kind of pivoting and twisting your hips. So if we get too much on our tippy toes, it's very hard to actually twist the body effectively, and you just find ways of doing it, which is unfortunately what's often happening in your swing. If we look in on the right-hand one, takeaway's good. You can see the golf club now working on or under that yellow line, okay? If I just take that line off there. If we go to the top of the backswing of this one, okay? You can see the same thing, the club working back now underneath that line. So your hands are slightly underneath that green line there, but in a similar-ish kind of position. If we go back into the frame there, yeah, probably about there is a similar sort of spot here. About there we go. So similar sort of spot there. And top of the backswing, we're in a good spot. This one here now, in a decent spot. Now this one for me has got a bit more turn, which is why your arms have got a little bit deeper and don't seem so high compared to that one on the right hand side. And now the issue in the downswing, because you would twist your hips and shoulders as your club would start back down. Now it's coming down very, very steep. Basically that shaft now is basically going through your neck and sort of lower ear area, very much kind of up there. For me, just very, very steep is going to encourage you to hit the ground behind the golf ball, make it very difficult to square the club face up. So what we'll generally see from that there is kind of that shape of shot or a miss hit shot that goes way to the left. And then on occasion, you kind of figure out by how much you have to adjust that club face. And yeah, on the range, you might get a few shots that end up nicely on target. But it was kind of figuring out more than one wrong, making a right, to kind of get that ball to go straight. Whereas what we're going to try and do is the feeling now of the arms dropping, okay? So from the top of the back, the arms now staying on that green line a little bit more. Look where that shaft's coming from. Now, arguably, still a little bit on the steeper side. But if we compare these two movements here now, just those two golf clubs, if I go down to the next frame there's kind of you're moving the club in this direction on a flatter angle, okay? It's not going to suddenly click your fingers and be there, but I think if we can do these practice moves, if we go back to the start of the video here, this is the feeling from the top of the backswing up here. Once you get up here, just let the arms just fall, yeah? This is what we've got to try and encourage more, and almost feel like you're swinging the club or flinging that club out at the golf ball. The same way, if I said to you, if you've had the pleasure of sort of using the what they call this, it's the devices that the African Americans sort of just sort of throw in those things to try and catch buffer, the sort of slingshot things, You wouldn't try and pull your hands to it, you would kind of throw the thing at the ball. It's like a whip crack type setting, just throw in the hand at the golf ball, and it's the crack of that club around the corner. If you try to create lag or shaft lean, you just go pull with your arms and your hands, the club's left behind for days, aiming somewhere over here. You hit a big old shot to the right and go, well, that didn't work very well. How can I start that golf ball somewhere left of target? I know my shoulder can now work first. I'll just pull it far left as I can. Or I'll keep my head down and try and roll me, or whatever it may be. And again, a lot of things then going on in the head. So your swing thought, okay, exaggerate this in practice. So you're this full motion here from the start. So you put the ball down, you're making these swings here now, all this kind of stuff here, sort of just feeling the arms coming down this way. You can see the club much more down through your right forearm there. That club is working through the golf ball nicely, and a natural kind of follow through there. Do this is about a whole minute you're doing this, which is fine. And that's how your practice should be. You kind of drill this move, muscle memory, what the arms do, they do this. And no pulling, we're not trying to yank the club down. Just let the arms just fall, yeah? Almost like a swish of that club, like you're going to sling a whip at the golf ball there, okay? And then when you've done all that for sort of 30, 40 seconds, okay, we step to the golf ball, we become aware of where our weight distribution is, because that's something we can do statically. And once that 1.5 seconds of motion or action takes place, just hit it. Don't think about the shot too much, okay? We want to be overthinking the shot as we're hitting the golf ball, okay? Do as much thinking as you like away from the ball. Do your prep work, do this, whatever it may be. But then when you step to that golf ball, all that work you've been doing now is hoping to start trying to create this sort of feeling. Okay, so as good as this is, I wouldn't be doing this over the golf ball, because now you're thinking about the shots while over the ball. Try and separate the hitting and the practicing, yeah?
If I was practicing there anyhow, I'd be pulling myself backwards.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's the thing. And what we often find sometimes is guys make practice where they'll start next to the golf ball, start doing, and then they start missing the ground near themselves. Now you're practicing hitting the ground here, which is going to be no good when the ball gets in the way, because your feet are that far from the golf ball. So if you make a normal swing, you hit the ball. If you're therefore making a practice swing, you've got to miss the ball. Yeah. So you're making a negative adjustment that you don't want to do. I pull my arms into my body. Really going to be what we're going to try and do. So always try and separate. I mean, not always capable, okay, but I try and sort of step back away from the ball. So we're in that kind of 6 foot from the golf ball behind it. That's kind of your thinking, planning, prepping position. Then when you step onto that square, hit it. Yeah, literally walk up and hit it.
Does that discuss all clubs?
Every club in the bag, yeah. It'll probably be a little bit harder with the driver because you want to kind of give it some extra oomph, and the angle is such that it's a little bit on a flatter angle anyway. So to change from that steep angle to a flatter angle will be harder. 8, 9 wedge you'll find probably a little bit easier because being a bit steep with them is not the worst thing in the world, and you can not get away with them. That's the wrong word, but you can hit shots of a decent movement with a slightly steep swing. So, but generally speaking, if we can get to yourself to the top of the backswing and get your arms coming down more in line with your chest, they see the club there is much more on the inside compared to that one there. I mean, look where the two shafts are.
Yeah, I can see.
One's going to create an unmentionable because your shaft now being out here, the heel of the club is moving in this direction towards the golf ball, isn't it? So you either come across the ball by tucking your arms in, okay? This one here, now as you said, it felt more natural swinging the golf club through. Head was down a smidgen longer, I suppose, but that's something you can just keep practicing with. Nice balance follow through there as you swing through, where this one now your arm's got to go a long way left. And then you can see the ball spinning off to the right. And even then you look a little bit kind of wobbly-ish. Your foot's got to kind of protect yourself from falling over, because even that little bit of balance loss there is a sign your weight was just a little bit on your tippy toes. And again, if the club goes out in front, where's your weight going to go? It's only going to be a little bit. And then again, it was a little bit because you didn't fall over as such. You couldn't kind of finish and maintain that as the left-hand one did. You were kind of here to go... Where's it going? It's not losing balance as such.
All sport tells you you're weighting your front toes, ready to
so
move.
You can spring and move, exactly. Golf's a more grounded sport, really. We're going to be on the ground nicely, your feet and heels to be nice and equally balanced, and the weight kind of fluctuates from sort of the middle of your feet into your right heel, back into your left heel. Most guys get on their tippy toes, because again, back in the sort of 80s and 90s, get on the balls of your feet, because a lot of sports on the balls of your feet, you can spring, you can jump, you can dive, and it's great for football and rugby and tennis and all these sports. But other sports, there's very few sports that are very resemblance to a golf swing, as in rotation around a fixed axis around your body. Whereas other sports are a bit more sort of forward and backwards and side to side, a bit more springy. Which, I understand you want to be athletic in a golf swing, but being athletic and falling forwards are not the same thing, is it? So, does that make sense, Sal?
It makes a lot of sense.
Excellent. Good
it's
stuff.
A matter of practicing. Now, can I butt high here at all?
Yeah, you can book out these sims if you want to. Yeah, you can book about speak to the girls in the shop, and they can. That's fine. Yeah, members they're free. Non-members, you pay an hourly or a half an hour rate. I'm not sure that's all of the sales stipulate. They can fix that for you. Okay.